The Spanish Civil War started because Spain was split between new ideas and old ways. The Second Spanish Republic, which began in 1931, wanted to make Spain modern and limit the power of the army and church. Against them were people who liked old traditions and were scared of fast changes. Things blew up in July 1936 when army generals led by Emilio Mola and joined by Francisco Franco tried to take over the government. The takeover began in Spanish Morocco and quickly spread, but it didn't grab big cities like Madrid and Barcelona. Instead of a quick win, Spain broke into two parts: nationalists, led by Franco, and Republicans, who defended the elected government. Both sides thought they were fighting for Spain's heart, so there was no way to make peace. The failed takeover started a brutal civil war, splitting the country by where people lived and what they believed. Families and towns were ripped apart as Spain went into almost 3 years of fighting. Everything was set for a terrible war that would hurt the country for many years. The war put two groups against each other, and they had very different ideas for Spain. The nationalists, led by Franco, brought together people who wanted a king, old-style Catholics, and fascists. They got help from country areas that were old-fashioned. The Republicans, or Loyalists, were a mix of people with different ideas: liberals, socialists, communists, and anarchists. They were strongest in big cities like Madrid and Barcelona. Cities in Spain were full of talk about making things better and workers' rights, while country areas held on to old ways and feared losing their way of life. As the takeover spread, towns and villages picked sides, sometimes quietly, often with fighting. In some places, the nationalists took over easily. In others, workers grabbed guns and formed groups to fight for the republic. This made a messy, broken front line, with neighbors fighting neighbors. The war became a violent fight about ideas and who people were, not just land. Spain went into civil war, and its differences were deeper than ever. Both sides quickly knew they needed help from other countries to win. Franco asked Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy for help, saying his fight was against communism. The Republicans, as Spain's real government, asked France and Britain for help, hoping they would defend democracy. But Britain and France, who were worried about communism and really wanted to avoid another war in Europe, said no. Instead, they made a no-help deal, signed by 27 countries, including Germany and Italy, promising not to send aid. But Germany and Italy ignored the deal, sending lots of help to the nationalists, while the Republic was left alone. The no-help rule hurt the Republicans and made things easier for Franco. The Spanish Civil War became a place where different countries' fights and ideas played out. While democracies waited, fascist countries acted. Hitler used Spain to try out his new weapons and ways of fighting. He sent planes, tanks, and the famous Condor Legion to help Franco. Mussolini sent even more, tens of thousands of Italian soldiers and lots of military help, giving the nationalists a big advantage. The Soviet Union, worried about fascism in the West, sent help to the Republicans, but they asked for gold in return and wanted more communist power in the Republic. The war became a fight where other countries used Spain, German, and Italian technology against Soviet help. Spain became a testing ground for fast attacks and bombing from the air, showing what World War II would be like. Other countries getting involved changed the war from just a Spanish fight into a practice for a global conflict. New weapons, new ways to fight, and new terrible things happened on Spanish land. What happened to Spain became a warning for all of Europe. The world watched as Spain became the first battlefield of the coming fight between ideas. The war brought thousands of people from other countries, writers, workers, and dreamers who joined the international brigades to defend the Republic. Among them were George Orwell and Ernest Hemingway, whose stories helped the world remember the war. Volunteers fought bravely but lost many lives, often with fewer guns and people. The terrible things about modern war were shown in Guernica, where German planes bombed regular people, which inspired Picasso's famous painting. Bad things happened on both sides. Franco's nationalists started the White Terror, killing people they thought were against them. Republicans in the chaos had radical groups who committed the Red Terror against church leaders and landowners. Both sides used violence to scare people and get rid of enemies, making the war's wounds deeper. The Republican government tried to stop the violence, but it hurt their image in other countries. The war's cruelty shocked the world and showed the dark side of extreme political ideas. Spain became a sign of how dangerous it is when ideas go too far and people fight among themselves. The bad things from the violence would stay with Spain for many years. By 1939, Franco's nationalists, stronger with foreign help and being united, beat the tired Republicans. Madrid fell, and Franco said he won, starting a harsh rule that would last 36 years. The war left 500,000 people dead, the economy broken, and society hurt. Franco's government banned people from disagreeing, changed history, and kept hurting people, forcing thousands into exile or prison. Families were split, and a whole generation grew up quietly, not allowed to remember the Republic. The war's hurt stayed hidden, shaping Spain's identity for many years. Only after Franco died in 1975 did Spain start to become a democracy. The war's lasting effects, mass graves, arguments about memories, and sadness that hasn't gone away, are still a sensitive topic. The Spanish Civil War is a strong warning about the cost of being divided and having extreme ideas. Its echoes are still heard in Spain today.